everyone, and a very warm welcome to DBF1 Season 5 as we head to, I was about to say Styrian Mountains, but that's Austria. We're about to head to the Ardennes Forest. It's in Europe anyway, I've got that right eventually. It is Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium for the first race of the evening, and then straight after that, we will head to Hungary for the Hungarian Grand Prix. It is really exciting to have you on board for this evening. My name is Jess Sport, your commentator, and we hope you could be provided with some great entertainment. So we have got quite a few things going on, and we've got standings to talk you through at the moment as well. We've had Darky that really showed his footing last week. He got 2 wins, and that's what it did to the standings, as I'm trying to find what the standings are. There we go. It would help but if I got it open. So Wade is still your championship leader, and then we've got Deck in second. He can't make it tonight though, but Darky, crucially, he moves up to P3 in the drivers' standings, which I think could be very interesting in terms of the championship. Quite a few people missing tonight, but that makes the championship maybe in the middle half a little bit more competitive. And we also have Lewis Craig racing tonight. I did get offered to race, but it would have been very little notice for me. Plus, I committed to commentary if we have a decent number. So that's why I'm in the box rather than racing. But you never know. You could see me in at the box for at some point in the season. You never know. But tonight, I'm here at least in at the commentary box. So it is currently a really, well, it's not wet at the moment. It's dry. We know in Belgium, the last time I raced, it was chucking it down, and it was an absolute nightmare to drive. So I can't imagine if it's going to be the same tonight. But we got a few people on laps, so we will take you through them. Let me get the track map open. Lap data. There we go. That is the ticket, so I can see who's on a lap and who is not. So, a little bit of information about Belgium then. First used in Formula 1 back in 1950. 22 laps away the 50% race, but it's a 35% race, so it'll be slightly less than that. It used to be, I think, longer than 7 kilometres. It was 14.9 kilometres, and it took in the forest and the rolling hills of the beautiful Ardennes region. It was then redeveloped back in 1979, and although the new circuit is only half the original length, it's still the longest on the calendar. So you can see Dan, who's racing tonight, is making his way through in towards Pouhon. And the best gear you would take it through is in 7th gear, ideally, as you head now into 001. A little bit, you could take a lot more curb than previous games, which honestly is an absolute relief. And honestly, Belgium is a lot more fun to drive on at this game. I need to actually put the wheel live. I am live commentating. Anyway, through now Blanchimont, and that's where we're going to see drivers really carrying that high speed through there. We could see some brave overtakes. I don't usually go for those moves like that, but there's some drivers that are brave. The bus stop chicane, very satisfying if you get it right, as Dan goes up to the line at 1:44.605 for the Ferrari man. Few drivers have invalidated their runs. We've got Scottish Goat, who's about to come finish his lap. We also got Gamer James about to finish his lap as well. He's on the medium compound tyres. What's it going to be for him? It's going to be oh, hang on a second. I thought I was on mute, but I wasn't. It's all good. James still slots himself into P3 anyway. I was a bit worried I muted myself just then, but I'm all good. I'm all good. So people on mediums, just to get a little bit of a feel for the track to start with, because people may not have much soft to use for the race, because of course with a 35% race you don't want too many softs, because softs is a nightmare on this game. Jacob fortunately has invalidated on his run. He was very good last week, but there was one safety car that kind of ruined his race, and he felt like he could have climbed a little bit higher in terms of pace. But he is, of course, looking for bigger things. Jordan had a really good race at Silverstone last week, and I was very impressed with his pace. I gave him driver of the day, and he's looking to improve a little bit more on his pace as the season goes forward. He is got no name to negotiate now. He might have a bit of a dirty air for the Red Bull, because I think the Red Bull's just finished his lap. That's costed a little bit of time for Jordan in towards P1. So, P1, I think it is going to catch a lot of drivers out here tonight. So, Jordan through towards Paul Frat. Fourth gear, doesn't take that much curb. You got to take quite a bit of curb here, which he does. Very nicely done indeed on the mediums. Very respectable lap time on those medium compounder tyres. As he's going to try and aim a little bit of that inside curb as much as you can, and then clip that one into the bus stop. And we'll see what gear he takes it in. He takes it in third, which is what I would do. I would drop it down to second if I was me, to have a bit more confidence in the car, but you can take it in third gear. And a 144.9 for Jordan on the mediums is very, very impressive. Tony Parr, in at the Haas, has won a race in Miami and is looking to get another one this season. He likes his circuit, so we'll see what he could do around here. And I didn't see his previous sector time, so I have no idea on what his lap times is going to be. So what's going to be for the Haas driver? He goes up to the line, P4, 145.519. Jack on the hards. So that gives me a strong inkling he's gone for a harder strategy, because you would have to go balanced if you have to go harder if you went on the mediums anyway. So, of course, the McLaren still has the chrome livery and you can choose, and I have to say, it does look gorgeous. It looks lovely, and I do prefer it, to be honest, as I think this could give Jack good luck. I was watching a race with him on Sunday, I think it was, and he finished on the podium. So he's got podium goals tonight, I think, around this track. He likes this track as well. But knowing me, I would jinx him as he goes into the pits. So I think for him, it was just an installation lap. So that's most people's laps then, done and dusted. Chris Johnson will be the first person to set, and none, actually no, it'll be the two Ferraris. I wonder the two Ferraris will be working together. So we'll run for your order so far. So Dan is P1 with a 144.605, then it's Jordan with a 144.924. And Scottish Goat in third. That is something that I was not expecting. Scottish Goat, very impressive in the Alpine. He's going out on a lap now. And he's been improving season by, not season by season, what am I on about? He's been improving race after race, and honestly, I absolutely love that about him. So I wonder what goal he's going to aim for tonight. I think top 6 would be probably his ideal situation to be in. And there's a lot of people on their out laps taking their laps quite fast, so they want to go through a lap very quickly. And since it's a long lap, then I completely understand. But you do not want to overheat your tyres that quickly. So I know Jordan has been on those mediums for 2 laps now, and he's already set purple first sector. He's gone up to second, so that means he must have put high fuel, and he's burning down the fuel as we speak, as we enter no name. So that is interesting, but for some drivers, they hardly put any practice in, which is fair enough because it's a Wednesday night league. So this may be the first lot of laps that these drivers do around the circuit. So coming through, we've got Chris Johnson, I think, just started his lap. Yeah, Bettino, both the Ferrari just started their lap as well. So I think, yeah, so Dan Wilner, I didn't see his first sector. It was 5/100ths quicker. So he is beating his previous time, but as, oh, look at that. Jordan's 5/10ths up in sector 2. Hopefully that's not wrong, but this is a good lap on mediums for Jordan. Jordan goes up to the line, What's it going to be? It's a lap time of a 1:43.9, a full second quicker. That final sector was a lifeline for him. That was insane. That's going to give a lot of drivers something to watch out for here. Quite a few people are on banker laps at the moment, so completely understandable. As I have a stream deck in the way, I want to try and move that out of the way, but I can't at the moment. So I can't see much people who's on laps. But Dan had just set purple sector 2 out of the ones around him, but he's only a few 100ths up. But again, he could gain all that time in the final sector through Blanchimont. His teammate, though, Jake, is on a lap first. Oh, is he? Oh, yeah, he is. Jake's got up to third. Very impressive. I went on board with him with just the wrong time. I feel bad for him. Anyway, Dan goes up to the line. It's going to be a 1:43.7. And again, he's found that time in the final sector. Chris Johnson up to the line. He unfortunately has invalidated. I thought he would have gone to the pits, but I'm guessing he is going for another run. Coutinho, or is it Mick? Well, it could be Scottish Go, actually. Nope, it's Coutinho who was on a lap. Coutinho goes up to the line. 1:44.9 puts himself into P4. So times are coming down thick and fast here. And let us know if you're watching in the chat, and also tell me who you are rooting for. And hello, Colin. How you doing? Nice to see you in the chat, my good old friend. I thought you'll be practicing for one up, but you're here watching the stream. And, of course, you're supporting the ERT guys. So that is great to see. So I know who you're supporting, Carl. Coutinho's down, so I think he's going to dive it into the pit soon. Interesting that Waze, Mick and Bazza has not set a lap time yet. So I think they're just going to wait just a teeny little bit to get some laps in. Scottish Goat slots himself into P3, by the way. Lewis Craig, that's more like it. We know he's a quick driver. I was going to say 1:45 wasn't in style, but of course, he only found out he was racing like an hour ago, so he has not had time to practice and sweat like he usually does. So that honestly is quite impressive with no practice. So, but he's got to find a few more attempts to pick up the pace a little bit. Jack Craig, where is he? Come on. Come on, there we go. 1:46.038 for Jack Craig, but he's going to go again, I think. Has he got enough battery? He's burned quite a bit of battery already, is Jack Craig. So is it, because I know when you get to like bus stop, if you use too much, you're going to just burn quite a bit. No, I think he's backed off, if I'm not too mistaken. Let me check telemetry. Yep, he's backed off. Okay, so let's not follow him on his lap because he's going to dive it into the pits very soon. Baz is on an out lap at the moment. Interestingly, he's going out now, but I wonder if he's going out on a 2 runs, if he's going on 1 banker lap and 1 push lap, just in case he bottles it, basically. Luckily, he only invalidated on his out lap and not his flying lap. Let's hope he doesn't do that on his flyer lap later on. Fingers crossed. And according to, of course, Dive Bomb F1 at Twitter, the predicted pole time is a 1... Well, actually, no, it's not. His predicted pole person was Wade, and Wade is 13th. So, Jack has predicted it wrong at the moment, but maybe Wade is just saying, like, just you wait. Jack's invalidated, so he's going to come into the pits. But luckily, I think he'll just about have enough time to go on a lap time. Kai has been on these softs for a long time. He's not going to have time to go again. So I don't know why he's gone on 3 lap old softs, but there you go. Things happen. So it is calm before the storm here. There's quite a few people going out at different times. If I were the drivers, I would go out now, because otherwise you won't guarantee getting a run in, because it is a long lap around Spa-Francorchamps. So we've got Dan, Jordan, Scottish Go, Lewis Craig's about to come out, I think. Jake's out. So is Tony and Chris Johnson. And, of course, Wade is as well. Mick's still in the pits. I don't think he's going to be doing a lap time. So Basil will be the first one to set a lap. It'll be his only lap of the session. It will be a one-shot qualifying for him. And his first sector was pretty decent. In towards Piron now. He had to do a little bit of a lift there, but he still carried quite a bit of speed, so pretty decent. As he enters into Piron. Nice line through there. Takes a lot of that curb. Did he take a bit of that curb there? Quite a lot more than I've seen some other drivers do around this track, which is very impressive for Bazza. Of course, he's won a race this season. He won in Spain. And he battled with the likes of Deck. I can't remember who else he battled with, but I know he battled with 3 people, I believe. But Deck was one of them, and it was really great to watch. I really enjoyed commentating on it. He had a bit of a tang slapper going through the bus stop. But he's still going to set a lap. What's it going to be? A 1:45.1. Puts him in 7th, though. But there's still lap times on the board. Jordan at about a 10th down. And I wonder if for some people, would mediums be the best option? We'll have to wait and see. We'll see if Jack's pole time, pole person, as predicted correctly. Of course, we'll have to wait and see. But knowing me, I am good at predicting, but sometimes I'm not. I was close to predicting something on Sunday, but it just did not work. Did not work at all. So, Coutinho is about to start his lap. So is Lewis Craig, and in towards T1. It will be the Alpine of Mick, I believe, about to start it out lap. Let's hope that's not a sign of things to come with him invalidating his out lap. Chris Johnson going through Brussels whilst his teammate is about to start his flyer. So let's watch Jordan, who is 4/10 up in the middle sector. Can he do enough to beat Dan's time of a 1:43.7? He's got a lot of work to do, but you never know what could happen with ERT Jordan. He goes fastest with a 1:43.565. And he'll probably say, beat that, my friend. Kai can't improve, so he's in the pit lane. Dan, I believe, is on a lap next. He's a 10th up on his previous best, so he'll be quite close to Jordan's lap time. Through the bus stop he goes. That was very nice through the bus stop. I think he's getting quite a bit of time. Can he get into the 1:42s? No, but he got into the 1:43 still. He's not enough to snatch pole position. What could Waze do? Oh, he went a bit too deep through the final corner, but will it still be enough to get pole? No. P6 for Waze. What about the other Ferrari? Jake goes 3rd. That's impressive for Jake. Scottish go. Actually, no, Bettino. It's so confusing. Like the Alpines and the Williams. It's just, yeah, confusing. Then Bettino goes 5th. Gamer James is on a lap next. He stays 11th because he invalidated. Lewis Craig up to the line. Goes Cole. 1:43.4. And Mick will be the last person to cross the line. And he's invalidated. He's hit the... Wow. Okay. Let's pretend that didn't happen then, shall we? But here is your qualifying laps around Belgium then. So, I wonder... Oh, I don't want that. I wonder what I would have done. I haven't done a lap around Belgium on this game, so I have no idea what lap I would have done. But Lewis Craig, 1:43.413. Then it's Jordan in 2nd, Dan in 3rd, Jake 4th, Scottish Goat 5th, Coutinho 6th, Tony 7th, Waze 8th, Bazza in 9th, Chris Johnson in 10th. Then we've got James, Jack, Craig, Kai and Mick. That is your order then. For the race, don't forget it is a 35% race. Safety cars are on. And don't forget the top 5 get points in qualifying. So that's Lewis, Craig, Jordan, Dan, Jake and Scottish Goat. So decent points for them already going into Belgium. So at least for them at Belgium, they are starting on the right But, so, tyre choices that I would go for, it would be quite a difficult decision. But we know the mediums, well, the softs could be a bit of a handball, so I wouldn't, of course, recommend softs for a long period of time. But, of course, you'll have different strategies for a 35% race and then a 25% race. So, I would go for either medium. I would either go soft hard or medium hard. Those were the two strategies I would go for. You can't see it at the moment, but it is very cloudy in Spa-Francorchamps at the moment. There's a peak of sun trying to go in at the darkness. Well, it's not really dark, is it? I'm speaking random things right now. But there's a peak of sun trying to come up, but I wonder if it's going to stay there. We will have a rough idea on what the tyres people will go on based on the choices. We could have a sneak peek on what the McLarens have in store. I can see Chris has chosen hard. Ooh. Chris, you better change now, sunshine, because I just told everybody what you're going on. But knowing me, the game will just be like, no, Chris is not going on hards anymore. Simple as that. So, of course, the drivers will have a few moments to pick their tyre strategy and change fuel. From personal experience, Belgium doesn't use that much fuel anyway, so I would put a little bit less fuel. And with Belgium, it's always a high possibility for safety cars. As we are about to get underway then for the 5 red lights here at Belgium. Action, and it's a very good start from one of the Ferraris, but Lewis Craig has got even a better start in towards T1. Dan Milner is up into second place already, has a little bit of carbon fibre in the background, so I wonder if someone has had a little bit of an off somewhere. Most people got through A-OK. Some more side-by-side action heading in towards Eau Rouge. I wouldn't risk it right now, but the question is, which drivers have opted for a low downforce setup? Because I think it's very key around it. As Dan trying to get past Lewis Craig in a matter of moments, which he does, up into first. Jordan, not at the best of starts, but he stays in third place. Jake in fourth, as Vitinho and Waze going side by side with each other into Brussels, and they were able to keep it steady and keep it clean. We'll give you a rough idea as to what tyres everyone is on. Everyone's on softs, everyone's on medium, except James. So Gabriel James down in 10th is on soft, but he hasn't got the getaway I was expecting. I thought he would have gained a few more positions. Jack Craig down the inside of Mick as he's through into 12th place. One person's quite close is Vitinho on the back of Scottish Goat. So Vitinho looking already quite fast around this circuit as they make their way through into Port Fret. And you don't want to be too close around here with the dirty out. It is getting a bit lighter, so I think that strongly suggests that it will get sunnier and it won't get rainier. But there are a bit dark clouds too. I don't get it. The weather is going to probably change like a drop of a hat here. So, Vitinho makes his way in towards the final corner. We'll see which is closer. Dan, by the way, has already pulled up a 1.2 second gap over Lewis right now. So, Lewis has got to make sure he burns a bit of battery to gain on Dan, because otherwise it's going to be a spot of bother right now. And there's a lot of people using that exit curve in La Source to gain a lot of speed. As there's yellow flag, that is Kai. Has had a bit of an off in La Source. Let's hope he hasn't hit someone, but we'll have to wait and see on that one. But anyway, here comes Jake. Side by side into past Jordan, but Jordan's going to try and defend for his life. I think Jake has DRS, but I'm not entirely sure on that one. I'm not sure if DRS was enabled in that lap. But Jake almost had him, but Jordan playing the defensive game very, very well. Been very impressed with Jordan. So Jordan is going to keep third position and onto the podium. For majority of drivers, the pace is pretty even. Lewis has gained a bit more speed on Dan, so that might mean he's got straight line speed of a machine, of a road. I don't know what you would like to call someone with straight line speed, but there we go. So we can see more moves being made. Bazza and Tony side by side. Tony gaining back the position of Bazza. Chris Johnson's right behind him as well. It was Chris Johnson that was fighting Baza as well in Spain. I was trying to remember which driver it was, but it was Chris Johnson. He wasn't sure if Chris Johnson wasn't sure if he was going to race tonight, but luckily Chris Johnson is racing tonight. Look at Tony. Baza has just got through Tony again, so I did miss the move completely there. As Jordan is... Was Jordan meant to pit then? Oh, no, but he's not. It looks like with the line that people take, it looks like they're pitting, but it's the other Haas. So Tony has come into the pit lane for an early stop. So I wonder if Tony has picked himself some damage. Let me see. Yes, front wing damage for Tony. So that's why you have to come in early, and he's been forced onto the hard compound of tyres. Unfortunate for Tony, but still quite a lot of work to do. Who knows? We might get a safety car. The gap now between Dan and Lewis, 9 tenths of a second. 4 tenths between Jordan and Lewis. And then it's 7 tenths between Jordan and Jake. Vitinho out of DRS range, and he's got his teammate for company. Williams are your constructors' leaders right now going into Belgium. And with both of them here tonight, honestly, I think... I'm not trying to jinx things here, but unless they bottle it, I'm almost certain that Williams will be constructors' champions. So they got to really nail it in the next few races in order to stand a chance properly. And we could see them through Paul Frere. Wade is struggling with a dirty air heading through into Paul Frere. So I think it's going to be, very difficult to gain the temperature that he needs and cool the engine, because you don't want to be too close, because otherwise the engine will go... As lap 3 about to go into lap 4, getting lighter. Jordan past Lewis Craig. I wonder if Lewis has overdone it on his tyres. But Jordan down the inside into P2. But we'll see who had a good ride into that source. That's allowing Dan to pull up a very brilliant gap on Jordan right now. If I was Jordan, I would burn a bit of ERS here. He's got plenty. I think he's got about 70% to use. So I would try and use a lot just to really gain in the slipstream of Dan, but maybe just back like that just to gain, to cool down those engine temperatures, which is fair enough. And now he's within 9 tenths, so probably he's definitely playing the smart game there. So the predicted pit stop window for these guys would be around about, if I was on the mediums, if I was doing medium to hard, I would come in around about now and go onto the hard tyres. But if you were to go on soft, stretch it to around about lap 6, I think. And then, yeah, go on soft then. So that is potentially what you would do. Actually, no, soft, not lap 6, lap 7 or 8. I don't think soft will last at all. So it'll potentially be soft, hard or medium to hard. But if you were to pit now, that would now be the best option for the hards. As we got our first penalty of Lewis Craig, and yes, Lewis Craig is struggling with tyre temps. Maybe he's got the wrong tyre pressure, because Scottish Go is getting past him as well. So Jake is through into the podium positions. Yellow flag, safety car. We've got a safety car here at Belgium. Okay. Now that is interesting. That means everyone's going to dive into the pit, and if there's people on low fuel... So what's caused that safety car then? Oh, that's why. Jack Craig's got no front wing. What happened there to cause that front wing damage, Jack, eh? I'm just seeing if any other drivers have got front wing damage. I don't think so. Kai. Tony, no. So, yeah, it was Jack Craig. Vitinho somehow stayed out, which I don't think is the right decision, because there's not many chances of a safety car in a 35% race compared to a 50% race. So, yeah, I'm a bit confused. But maybe it's for the right reasons. So, everyone has pitted apart from Vitinho and Mick. And the ones who have pitted, apart from James, have gone onto the hard tyres. Mediums won't get to the end, I don't think. But fair play if Gamer James does get those mediums to the end. I think James started on the hard, so we had no other option. Unless he had the harder strategy and he could go on to another set of hards, no problem. But he'll have to be at the back otherwise. So, we will run through your order then for that. Oh, spun turn 12. That explains it then. I spun it turn 12 many a times on this game. So your order then, Vitinho and Mick, the only ones left to stop, but we'll go for your order anyway. Vitinho, but then your net race leader is Dan, then it is Dan, and it's Jordan, Lewis, Scottish Goat, Waze, Jake, Bazza. That safety car has really helped Bazza actually. Mick, but he hasn't yet stopped. Chris Johnson, James, Tony, Jack, Craig and Kai. I think the one that is definitely hindered is Tony because he's got he had front wing damage. But at least he's now going to catch up to the rest of the field as someone's taken the breaker marker boards in towards Paul, just before Paul Frere. So if anyone wants a brake marker board, then good luck. Let's just say that. So I think it'll take a while for, of course, Kai to catch up. So the safety car will be in for, well, we'll say out, sorry, for another lap. And I've just been told, by the way, about 10 minutes ago, that it is a full dry race. Thank goodness. So, and Vitinho finally decides to come in. A lap late, but he's coming anyway. I don't know why he didn't come in before, because he's going to lose so many positions. But anyway, no can do. I wonder if Mick's going to do the same thing. No. Mick's not doing the same thing. So it is a long lap, so I wonder what people will be thinking at the safety car restart. How will they manage it? Because, of course, you don't want to be the one leading the safety car, because I think Jordan and Lewis have got the most to gain, because they're going to burn the EOS and try and gain the slipstream. But the slipstream is not as powerful in F125. The dirty air can play a massive factor. So I don't know where I want to be in that situation. But if I was Dan, I will be defending for the life. Lewis Craig, he's going to be in a bit of a nightmare. So is Jack Craig, actually. There's something wrong with the Craig brothers because they both got a time penalty. I will check the time penalties for you, and they're both 3 seconds. Thank God no one sped in the pit lane, because that would have been a disaster, let's just say that. So, drivers have got the most to gain in this situation. Dan, who wants to try and climb up the championship. Waze, knowing that Darky is not here. With Darky not here tonight, Waze has really got to take that advantage and gain quite a few positions. He can't afford to be aggressive on their tyres. I can see some people that are weaving with their tyres and some people are not. But from experience, it does take a while to warm hard tyres on this game, even during a safety car restart. Now, will the safety car come in this lap? Right, so safety car in this lap. So we will go green flag racing very soon. So Dan is going to be the Burt Mylander. So we'll go on board with him. It will be up to him when he goes. But you can't go until the safety car comes into the pits, because the game will limit you. When I first said a safety car restart, it wasn't in this league. It wasn't in GTGP. It wasn't One Hub though. I was wondering why is it not going, but that's because I went before the safety car came into the pits. Luckily, Dan has had experience with a safety car restart before. And there he goes. He's trying to go before the bus stop. So will that pay off? Jordan is still right on the back of him. And for the second time tonight, we are about to go green flag racing. And that restart has really paid off for the Ferrari man of Dan Wilner that wants to get back on the title hunt for this season. Lewis Craig has had a good restart as well. And James, oh, there's a lot of switching positions at the background. Tony Parr is up into 10th position past Mick because he's been on old hards. Here comes Waze as Waze goes for into 4th. Mick's on old mediums, not on hard. So Mick will have to pit soon, but you may think that another safety car will come in handy. Dan's already cleared of Jordan of a second, but now Jordan's gone back into within that 1 second. Chris Johnson around the outside of Tony. He's starting to climb back position again, and it's very important for him to do that. I have noticed that Lewis is lagging a little bit. Luckily, I'm not the only person that has mentioned it, because I think there's some other drivers that have mentioned it as well, because there are times where he just goes a bit over the place. But yeah, Waze is up to 4th, by the way. So Waze has nailed that. Of course, Waze did not get pole position, as Jack would have predicted, but he's got really good race pace. He just got to control it for the rest of this now. And let's just hope for the drivers that they don't burn any ERS. Too much ERS. So I think Lewis is going to be the one that's going to try and gain an advantage on Jordan here, as Jack Craig has passed Mick. Mick's down to 13th now. I still don't get why Mick hasn't gone into the pit lane. I'm just a bit confused about that one, but... Oh, what the hell just happened there? That was a bit of a lag spike, it looked like, from Lewis, because Lewis ghosted and he almost hit Jordan there. I think the drivers have got to be very careful with that, as Mick's retired on track. So I can see his car moving, unless he's retired in the pits. I have no idea. I hope he's retired in the pits and not retired on track, but there we go. But anyway, that was, I think, very close from Lewis Craig to just cause an incident there, because he misjudged his braking point. As, he's get the gravel. Yep, I wonder if he's got internet issues or a weird issue or something like that. Don't forget, I think he's still carrying an injury as well. So fair play for him to still go. As I think now, with all of that, both Jordan and Waze are now 1.1 seconds behind their respective people, which is giving an advantage to this man, Scottish Goat. I did say, would he get one of his best results tonight? I think his best result is 6th. If he gets 4th, I think you'll be very, very pleased with that. I think you'll benefit from this a lot. So we'll keep an eye on him as it continues, of course. Still a lot of best results from these drivers tonight as well. Of course, we've got 14 drivers. Some drivers did not show up tonight. No sign of where Stereogram is. Hasn't turned up for the last few weeks, actually. So if you're watching Stereogram, use common courtesy and message Jack if he can't make it in the future, please. As Mick has left the session, but of course he's retired from the session, so yeah, to be expected. As we're on lap 9 of 15 now. More positions being made in the background. What I'm surprised is Vitinho is dropping a little bit further back right now. I think it's not where he wants to be. So I think honestly, for Vitinho, he's got a lot of work to do from where he is. So I think Vitinho may wants to try and climb a few more places because of that. We're almost at the end, so it might be too little too late for that. Chris Johnson, he's a little bit further back to James. James doing quite well in 8th position on mediums, but you can see the mediums starting to die a little bit as Bazza, in some places, he's increasing the gap, but James is closing the gap here. So I think, of course, what James was doing, which I saw, he was burning quite a bit of his battery, but he's attacking a lot of these curves and being aggressive in places, but he is doing quite well where he is at the moment, as we have got, I think, And I think the only two people that I think could go for the race victory is Dan and Jordan. Dan, I think unless something spectacularly bad happens, I think it will be Dan's. But I wonder if Jordan is saving a bit of his tyre wear now and ERS and pushing towards the end, as Bazza has picked himself a 3-second time penalty. So Bazza, unfortunately, is going to lose quite a bit of ground right now because he's got a 3-second time penalty as well. So that leaves 3 drivers with a 3-second time penalty. Waze on course, trying to get second away from Jordan, but he's hardly got any ERS to use up. He picks up on the power, 8th gear, DRS wide open, but Jordan has the DRS open as well, through into Lacombe. He attacks the curb, gains a bit of entry speed, but it's not quite enough. He's just going to sit there and be patient. Jordan's gained a lot of time on Dan now, which I for sure suggest that Jordan was saving for a little bit, and now he's going to be pushing now. So I can read Jordan's mind, and I'm very happy about that. Very happy about that. So we'll see who has gained the most positions right now. So Wade has gained 5, James has gained 3, Jack and Kai have gained 1. Biggest losers, Lewis Craig down 4, Jake down 2, Patino down 7, and Tony down 3. So those are the ones who have lost positions since the start of the race. Could they climb back to positions within the last few laps? We'll have to wait and see, as we're about to start lap 11. I keep saying we're about to start lap X, but I do apologise. We're just hoping that there's quite a few overtakes that's going to go on, but I think with Jordan's pace at the moment, this could strongly suggest that we could see an overtake coming in the next few moments. And with Dan having no DRS, this could be advantage Jordan, but he doesn't want to be too close because of the dirty air. So it's a bit of a catch-22 for Jordan. Patino's in, so I wonder if he's got damage or if he's going for soft for the fastest lap. Jay gets past Lewis up to 5th, but Dan is defending for all his might here to make sure Jordan doesn't have a sniff and does not try and get past. Patino's out of the race. He's retired in the pit lane. So that is a bit unfortunate. So we are down to 12 runners in this race. But that does mean you're more than likely to be scoring good points as long as you finish. Jordan's gained quite a bit of cornering speed going into campus. That was very lovely from Jordan. That's allowing Wade to join in the fight as well. And with Jake and Lewis having a little bit of a fight as well. Now that's going to make things very interesting. And it's not going to be that long before I think the tyres for a lot of people start to degrade very rapidly and overheat. So we will potentially see some slides. So we're now on lap 12. If I was Jordan, do not go for the move just yet. In towards this curb there. Jack Cray gets a 3-second time penalty, so another one. I think that's his second. So that will move him to 6 seconds worth of penalties, I believe. So that will be very unfortunate there. As Jordan, I think this could be advantage Jordan here. Dan defends the right-hand side. Here comes Jordan, and is Wade's going to follow him through? No, he does not, but Jordan takes the lead. Jordan takes the lead of the Belgian Grand Prix. Here in the Ardennes Forest. Not the Steering Mountains, as I almost called it earlier. As Chris Johnson passes Gamer James. James is medium tired and starting to give up the ghost, it seems. But Jordan, it will either be Jordan, Dan, or Waze that will be taking a victory here this evening. And if Waze gets a victory, this will really help them in the Drivers' Championship. Yellow flag. Is that someone being lapped? Did someone have a bit of an off there? Oh, Lewis Craig. What's happened there? So Lewis Craig must have had a bit of an off or contact. And it's definitely not a puncher because we know that the hard's lasted a lot longer on this game. But yes, Lewis Craig's now dropped to 10th. Nearest butter. So there we go. So, which car would you want to be in that situation? Would you want to be Waze? Would you want to be Dan, or would you want to be Jordan? I think I want to be Dan, the one chasing, but you've got to be wary about what's going on, like, both sides. As we can see, Dan attacking to the right-hand side. Is he going to get DRS? I don't know. It'll be hard to tell if Dan's going to get DRS here. But he's going to be side by side anyway. Could this be free wide into Lecom? Waze sneaks into the middle. Waze is going to get second, and Dan's dropped from first to third in one corner. The move that he made into El Rouge was not the wisest move, and that's allowed Jordan to retake the lead, and with Waze to get second. Now, game on, I would say. Dan has got to be a bit more tactical than that if he wants to win this race. He can still win this race. But he knows that the best chance for him to go for a move is towards the Kemmel Straight. Not through El Rouge, because you won't get the DRS because of the detection point. So, and the slipstream is still okay, but you want to be, I think, a little bit further back first. So, Dan, I think, has got to play the smart game and do exactly the same to what we saw Jordan do. So, maybe Dan will get up to second in the next lap, and then in lap 15, then he could try and get the lead from there. That will be his main goal. It's the closest battle on track at the moment. Meanwhile, Tony is right on the back of Gamer James, looking to snatch P8 from him. Round the outside, through the bus stop, which is probably harder to go for a move anyway. They make a slight bit of contact, but they just about keep it relatively clean. Waze and Jordan. Waze made exactly the same mistake to what we saw Dan do, but he's a little bit too further back, so he's not going to lose 2 places. He's only going to lose 1, but Jordan goes through once again. Is Jordan going to take the lead here, or is Wade's going to nick it? Wade is going to nick it. So, whatever Dan did last time about, Wade did it with ease. I think Wade might have done it slightly later to make sure that he would get the DRS. So, Wade is P1 at the moment. I have to say, Baz are doing a great job in 6th position, but he's got that penalty, so he's going to drop quite a bit. But because Chris got that penalty too, then he should be all right. So he will still remain in the P6, and he will probably take that in a heartbeat. Lewis Craig is up into 11th now. He's gone on subs, and he's going to try and go for the fastest lap point. Interesting stuff. Now it's going to be a nail-biting final lap, and make sure you join us. Do not miss a thing here in Belgium at Spa-Francorchamps. Don't forget, we've got Hungary up next, which will be a 25% race, no safety car, and it will be one-shot qualifying. So, who will win this one? Wade has got to do what he did the last lap. Defend for his life. So, Jordan, he's got the best chance here. But if I was Dan, maybe let them bite potentially. But you got as much of a chance to win this race compared to everyone else. Let's get on board with Dan, as he's got a really perfect view of this front 2 then, as they fight for the win of this race. Because if the top 2 make a mistake, Dan could go yoink and go for the move. Jordan to the left-hand side. Waves to the right-hand side. In towards their com. Jordan snatches P1 for now from Waves, but there's still a long way to go in at this lap. Dan looking quite close to Waze right now, and this is the danger of leading on the last lap around Belgium. You're going to be absolutely troubled, but we know with Waze, he does not give up without a fight. He would probably want to try and go for the move in towards Blanchimont, in towards Piron then, for the final time. The gap now between Waze and Jordan, it's about 5 or 6 tenths of a second. 6 tenths of a second separating between Dan and Waze right now, so it is nail biting. In towards the final sector, coming up for you right now. Jordan cannot afford to make any mistake. Waze, let's just hope for him that he's got plenty of ERS to burn so he could try and go for the move on Jordan. So Waze, I think he's hardly got any battery left, so I don't think it's going to be enough, but you never know with what could happen here. Jordan, who finished second last week, unless he doesn't make a mistake, he's going to come across the line now, and he's going to be a Dive Bomb F1 winner this season. He wins in Belgium. Waze slots himself into second, Dan in third, Scottish Goat in fourth, Jake will be happy with P5, and Bazza will slot himself into P6. Chris Johnson will slot himself into P7, but I think, will Tony get ahead of him? Nope. Chris Johnson's gap was way out higher. Gamer James, fair play for him staying on 11 lap on me's, but I don't think that would have been fun towards the end there. Jack Craig slots himself into 10th position. Lewis Craig got a final corner to go, and what could have been for him? Again, he hasn't done much races on this game. Still a lot to learn for him. So Lewis up into 11th. Kai, final corner. And he's going to finish in the point, so fair play to him. So it was a really interesting final couple of laps as well, but fair play to Jordan. I know Colin, who's watching in the chat at the moment, will be very happy with that. But I did say a performance like that would be good for him, and he nailed that. And Chris Johnson saying in the driver chat that he would take the result that he had. I would as well, Chris. That was a very good race from him, and I think he deserved that position. We'll go through your order in just a moment. If it will let me go through the order, there we go. So, race winner, Jordan. Fastest lap, Lewis Craig. Drive of the day, Waze. Most overtakes, Tony. And Scottish Goat, cleanest driver. So, we'll run for your order then. Jordan wins from Waze. Then we got Dan Wilnut. Then we got Scottish Goat, Jake, Bazza, Chris Johnson, Tony, Gamer James, Jack Craig, Lewis, and Kyle, your finishers. And your retirements are Bettina and Mick. Waze saying in the chat to give a shout out to Jordan and Dan. He thought that the racing between the pair of them was very clean. I agree. The racing between all three of you was very respectful and clean. So well done to all three of you there. I really enjoyed that. A massive shout out to all three of you there. So we are going to, of course, the drivers are going to be taking a little bit of a break now before we head to the main race action in the Hungaroring. So the Hungaroring is, of course, where the real life drivers were just a few weeks ago, and I raced around here, and it's quite a bit of fun, but I think because of it being high downforce, it could be, in my opinion, it could be dirty air central. So we're going to watch out for these drivers tonight and see what they do. And with Hungary, there's always a threat of rain. Most races I've commentated on that didn't have custom weather, it had rain affected, and it would always a nightmare of that. And I was annoyed that I caught the end of that overtake. Yeah, I feel so bad, Waze. There's quite a bit to cover, obviously, but honestly, Waze, if you could clip that for me, that'll be lovely, and then I could watch it anyway. That'll be awesome. So we know from experience, one-shot qualifying around Hungary could be a nightmare. And watch out for penalties. I think the drivers that are going to do well here are the drivers that could pick up the least amount of penalties. So if you're a driver that's prone of getting penalties, then you're probably not going to do well. Now, Wade thought that it would have been the win, but he didn't have enough battery and the DRS was too powerful. But he got the maximum result today. You did. You definitely did there. So, a little bit of fact about the track. Work began on the Hungaroring back in 1985. It was the first race behind the Iron Curtain. The Hungaroring is located 12 miles to the northeast of Budapest. And a city street race was, well, I'm not going to say too much about that. But yes, there was actually a Grand Prix back in 1906 before Formula 1 actually began. And it was won by a Hungarian driver, which is quite interesting. Hungary's motorsport history went back to 1936, where a Hungarian Grand Prix was first held in Negapay. It had 100,000 spectators, which before World War II, it was very, very impressive. In 1986, the inaugural Formula 1 event was attended by 200,000 people. 200,000 people for an inaugural F1 event back in 1986 is very impressive. So, of course, Hungary is compared to Monaco, but without the walls and without the barriers. And it's also had a little bit of a resemblance to a karting circuit, but I don't seem to agree with that. If I was racing here today, I would opt for Monaco levels of downforce. I would probably go for 50-50 wings, but it depends really. But of course, the drivers will need to do a little bit of a think. So the drivers have been told to, I think, ready up because Jack Craig has got the tick. So we should be good to go for the second race. I would, of course, be nervous if I was doing one-shot qualifying here today. So these drivers have got a lot of work to do. So race 2 of the evening, and still chance to get some points in one-shot qualifying, because don't forget the top 5 score points in one-shot qualifying, just like short qualifying earlier on. And if you're watching this live, drivers, best of luck for Hungary. We're praying that... Well, I'm not going to say too much because people are going to think, oh, Jess, you're jinxing. That's not fair. Now, I don't know where Mick has gone. Mick has gone. Apparently, he's going to work. Okay. So we only got 13 drivers now. But that's better than no drivers, I guess. So hopefully the drivers will remember their setups here this evening. I will check to see what the weather is very soon as well. I was going to check something else, but I completely forgot what I was going to check. But if you're asking me what tricky corners are around here, turn 1, because it's a very sharp right-hander, heavy braking, and you got to get the apex early on this game to get better traction. Turn 4 is a fast left-hander, leads to an interesting section. You've got to carry enough speed and avoid running a bit wide. That double chicane towards turn 6 and 7, very satisfying if you get it right, but a nightmare if you get it wrong. So let's move to this scene over here, as I've moved into that scene in a good time. And I can hear seagulls in my room. So, well, not in my room, but outside. I like the sound of seagulls, but I wouldn't want to have a seagull attack me, let's just say that. And I don't know why I'm talking about seagulls on a stream, but that's because I can hear them. Anyway, who is going to win this pole lap? Then we'll have to find out. Let's go on board then with the race winner. Where are you? Come on. Come on. There you go. So Jordan in towards turn 1. Lovely speed in towards turn 1 there. That was very nice. But he could have taken a little bit less curve as you enter into turn 2. If you're comfortable, take it in 4th gear. But that was a very nice line through anyway. In towards turn 4, where you go uphill. You just slight lift in towards 6th gear. And then go into 4th or 3rd once again. A very tight line to gain the maximum speed. Jordan is doing a very good job, actually. Now heading towards that double chicane. Oh, he's lost a bit of time there. But not much time compared to other drivers. Stay in 4th throughout the entirety of this section. Be careful not to invalidate. Through 6th gear and stay 6th as you aim to the right-hand curb. This is an important track where you got to ride those curbs. As Jordan, looking like he's a favourite at the moment, but we got surprises up near the top. Who's going to come out on top here? Would it be last race winner, or would it be someone else? Here he comes in the final corner. Jordan goes up to the line, and it's going to be pole position for Jordan with a 1:17.413. Wade in 2nd position, and Jake in 3rd. Wow. So Jordan is the favourite so far. That was a very good lap time from Jordan. So well done to him there. But the thing that impressed me is Jake in 3rd. So that was what impressed me. Waze managed to pull off a very great final sets to move up to 2nd in the death. But here's your order then. We got Jordan from Waze, from Jake, from Jack, from Dan, Scottish Goat, Bazza, Tony, Gamer James, Lewis Craig, I think, messed up. So did Kai Bettino, and Chris Johnson, unfortunately, has invalidated. So that is your order then for the Hungarian Grand Prix. Very, very interesting, to say the least. Very interesting order. And it looks like, I think, unless the drivers could tell me otherwise, it's going to be a dry race again. So it looks quite sunny. And we know that, for me, Hungary does burn quite a bit of fuel. And we will actually go through all your standings as of Hungary, as of Belgium, sorry. So I'll run through them for you. So obviously you can't see it at the moment, but I'll run through it. So Wade is leading on 202 points. Then it is Deck in 2nd on 181. Darky's 3rd on 174. Dan in 4th on 146. Tony is 5th on 137, joint with Chris Johnson. 7th is Bazza with 99 points. Then we've got Coutinho in 8th on 99 as well. Jake in 9th on 92. Jack Craig in 10th on 89. Then we got Alpha Jess in 11th on 86. Jordan in 12th on 85. Scottish Goat in 13th as we are about to get underway. No time to talk about everybody else, as the 5 red lights are on for the 2nd time tonight, and we go racing behind the Iron Curtain, and we don't know what's gone on because there's cars ghosted everywhere, and it looks like there could be a desync. But we've got Scottish Goat, who leads from Jordan. No, actually, no, Jordan that leads, sorry. And Jake in 2nd, Waze in 3rd, as we got a yellow flag, and that is Jack Craig that's had a bit of an off there. So that was a bit unfortunate for him because he's had a very good qualifying start. So ignore that Scottish Goat is leading. He's not leading. It is Jordan. It was the same problem that happened in a lobby that I was in earlier on. So on Sunday. So that is probably why. But lap 1 of 18, and you can see the Jordan is starting to try to run away with it right now. But everyone else looking quite even on pace. So Scottish Goat then down into, I think, yeah, Scottish Goat I think is definitely desynced. But for everybody else, it will be easier to track at the moment. DRS, of course, won't be enabled until lap 2 right now. And of course, with 18 laps, anything can happen with a 25% race. So almost out of DRS range. Jordan is doing a great job there. But Jake, of course, won't get DRS until the next detection point, which will be the final corner, as you can see on your mini-map. Gamer James is looking quite close to the back of Kai. Gamer James going to try and go for a dive bomb of dreams in towards turn number 1, and he does it with ease. Dan Wilnut trying to do exactly the same thing as we head towards turn 2. Round the outside goes Dan, and that was lovely. But Kai's not going to give up. Through the outside he goes again for Dan. Dan's up into 9th place. Scottish Go trying to do the same thing. Up and around through turn 4 he goes. And the Alpine driver is up into 10th place. A slight bit of contact between Jack Craig and Kai. I think Kai must be struggling a little bit there. But Jack Craig is up into 11th spot. Yellow flag, and that is Lewis Craig. I wonder if Lewis has got technical difficulties, because I don't think he should be where he should be. So that'll be a bit unfortunate if he does have technical difficulties. He has been suffering some internet problems, so that'll be a bit of a shame there. But Jordan's already increased the gap to Jay on 1.2 seconds, which is very good indeed. The top 5 have no DRS, but there's one driver to keep an eye on here that does have DRS. Is Patino in at the Williams, and we know with Patino that he does like racing around Hungary. I had a nice battle with him around Hungary in One Hub a few weeks ago as well, so I do expect him to be quite quick around here in terms of race pace. Lewis Craig going in a moment again in the background, I think in towards turn 10, but Patino using a bit of that curb. He's the closest out on track to anyone. Tony Parr actually doing quite well. He was almost, I think he was almost within DRS of Waze for a minute there, but he lost a bit of ground, I think, heading towards turn 5, which was very unfortunate for him. As Lewis Craig's out of the session, yeah, I'm almost certain he's had tech issues. So Lewis, if you were watching, just give me a message and tell me what the issue was, because I'm almost certain it was a wheel issue. But it was good to see him race tonight. It was really, really good. But it was a shame that he had to retire due to potential tech issues. So that means we are down to 12 runners here this evening. And a massive shout out to all of you that are watching, as Dan gets past Scottish Goat then and up into 9th spot. Dan goes into the pits. So I wonder if he's going to get a stop done early. We'll have to find out, as we're seeing more valves in at the background. But what I was trying to do is getting the tyres. So top 4 on mediums, James on softs, hards for Chris Johnson, Bazet and Bettinio on mediums. As Dan is on hards, he is hoping to get those tyres until the end of the race. And I was informed in chat that it is a dry race again for Hungary, which for me I think is a little bit of a relief. And Waze has found a bit of speed as he wants to try and get past Jake, but Hungary is one of the difficult track to overtake. And honestly, you may be the quickest driver, but if you can't get past a slower driver, you're going to lose so much more time, and it will allow the drivers behind you to really start to close up. And Lewis Craig says skill issue. You haven't touched the game since June. Fair enough. Fair enough. I had a feeling, because I was saying earlier that you haven't touched the game in the world. To be fair, Lewis, what's happened to Waze there? He lost a bit of ground there, but he's trying to make sure that nobody behind him gets slipstream. To be fair, Sunday just gone was my first proper league race that was points paying. So yeah, I only done one league race as Jack Craig is out the race. Don't know what happened there. He's retired in the pit lane. But yeah, it was my first proper race on Sunday as well. So people are shocked that I've not done many races, but no, I'm too quick for this league. But I'll be racing next season, and I'm excited. And speaking of next season, we do have some news about next season. So if you are watching, keep an eye out And make sure you don't tune out when the race finishes, because I do have some news. What's going to be happening next season again. Just a little bit more information. And it'll be good news to some people. I'm not going to say who, because it'll give it away otherwise. But we know that F125 is a different game, Lewis, so I can understand that, that it's struggling for you to adapt at the moment. But knowing you, very soon you'll be adapting quite quickly. But we know that for everyone it takes a while to adapt to a new game anyway. So lap 6 of 18, pretty much hardly any battles happening at the moment. They've all just died down a little bit. Waze just can't do enough to get within Jake's slipstream. Unless maybe potentially if he could do it towards here. Does he have... No, he doesn't have DRS here. So we're almost halfway into this one. And if you haven't already, make sure that you click the thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that notification bell when you're on new, so a lot more people get notified about this amazing stream and this amazing league. I'm trying to remember what the next races are. I think it might be Zandvoort and Monza? Or Monza and Zandvoort? Other way around? I don't know. I think it might be... I'll have a look, because I had it saved somewhere as to what the calendar is. I will get it up on stream, but I won't, because you never know, there could be action that we may not see. But this is the closest battle, as well as the yellow Williams on Basil as well. So Williams are on a charge here today, and it is going to be very interesting. Now, I am trying to find something that has the calendar, and I can't find it. And it might just be me being an idiot, but I might have called my folders wrong. But for some reason, Wade has just found a bit of pace, or is Jake struggling a little bit with his mediums? Because we know the mediums may not last long here, and it may take a bit longer for the drivers to adapt. So it is, yeah, I was right. It is Monza, then Netherlands. Yep, good, good. Woohoo! I got it right. So after this, we got 3 more weeks. So we got Italy and Netherlands next week, Singapore, USA the week after, Brazil and Abu Dhabi after that. So we're not doing every track. But don't forget, I think season 6, I believe, starts with Austin and then Belgium. 2 really great tracks. And Vitinho does what I thought Jake or Tony was going to do and come in. So Vitinho is going to come in, and I would expect him to go onto the hard compounded tyres. So through he comes. Yep, hard compounded tyre he goes, because softs will definitely not make it to the end of the Grand Prix. So gap now. Jordan in first, Jake in second, Wade in third, Tony in fourth, Bazza in fifth, who's closing up on Tony quite rapidly. Chris Johnson in sixth, Scottish go in seventh. Dan Wilnut, don't forget, has pitted and had quite a bit of an undercut on Vitinho. And we know in Hungary, speaking from previous experience for me anyway, the undercut is so powerful, and I do mean it. I really do mean it. Now the yellow flag, and unfortunately Gamer James is out of the session. He's binned, unfortunately. But oh, what's happened to Petit? Oh, what did Patino and James come together? Well, that was hard to see. That was really hard to see because, yeah, it just all happened in an instant. Meanwhile, Jake, Wade and Tony have all come in because they had seen how powerful the undercut is. Bazza understandably stays it out because he's on those hards. So he's going to stretch out for, I think, 2 more laps before he then goes on to the mediums. So keep an eye out on Dan. So here he comes. So Dan's going to be the one to watch out for in terms of undercut. I'm almost certain that Dan... Oh, no. So Dan will be behind. So... Yeah, oh yeah, because Dan lost quite a bit of time earlier on. That does explain it. But... Dan might want to pit again earlier on. We'll have to wait and see. So, we'll keep an eye on the front two especially. We've got an ERT1 too. Colin will be pleased to see this. We do have a 6.1 second gap at the moment. But... honestly, it's great to see Jordan in his element. Getting used to the game. I love that he's been performing so well recently. Really, really love to see. As... Jordan comes in to the pit lane. And he's going to go on hards too. Bazza stays out. Chris Johnson stays out. If I was Scottish Goat, I would come in around about now, which he does. He can read my mind perfectly. Thank you, Jess Gabe 95. And he clips a bit of the grass. Luckily, he was on his in lap anyway, so that didn't give him that much of a difference. So Jordan is still ahead, but because of the pace that he's had. But Wade's got past Jake in towards T1. Side by side, Jake cuts back. Oh, a bit of a weave from Waze. That was so close to the bit of contact. Round the outside goes Jake. Oh my goodness. That was close to contact, and it was close to an incident. But fair play to both of them as they both try and ride the curb. As Jake is through, back up into a net P2 of this race. But it could have been a DNF for both of them if they were not too careful with 9 laps to go of this race. Oh my goodness. That's lost them a bit of time to them and Jordan though. So Jordan did the right thing to pit when he did. Because if he pitted a lap later, he would have been, I think, in a spot of bother. We had one winner last week with Darky winning 2 races. Austria and Britain. Will we see the same tonight? Looking likely. Baz and Chris Johnson come in. Both on mediums. So we'll see how they climb up. Of course, they're going to lose quite a bit of time due to a lot of people already pitting. Baz is going to come out in 5th. Just behind Dan. That's impressive. As Waze gets past Jake again. But Jake tries to get the cut back round the outside again. Oh my goodness, they're getting their elbows out tonight. In towards turn 4. I didn't think they'll be going for moves. I'm almost certain that they were going to be getting warnings there, because there were certain moments where I thought they could have exceeded track limits there. That was, I think, really fun to watch there. Very respectful. 7/10 gap now. And all this, they're going to lose so much time to Jordan. They can't afford to fight like this. They got to work together to try and close in on Jordan, and then they got to fight. That's what I would do. Work together, even if you're not teammates, to close in on Jordan. Because otherwise, Tony's going to gain time as well. And that would be an absolute nightmare. So, we're about to start lap 12. Jordan comes across the line to start lap 12, I mean. And Jordan sets the fastest lap of this race. And Jake does have the DRS. He's a little bit too further back to try and go for a possible move. Will he go for a move here? No, further back. A little bit too further back to my liking, unfortunately. So I think these two are going to be fighting for quite a while yet. I think that's the only battle that we're going to see for quite a bit at the moment. But that's not always a bad thing. That's not always a bad thing. Of course, the Hungarian Grand Prix in real life, it was getting very close to the McLarens making contact with each other. And obviously, George Russell was hoping that would happen. But luckily it never happened. And Lando Norris took the win. And that makes the championship between the two McLarens very closer. Jake's gained a bit of time in that final sector on Waze. But I wonder if they will work together or just fight for themselves. There was a bit of a slide from one of the drivers there that I saw. Jordan setting the fastest lap of the race so far. I do remember when I was racing here before on this game, the hard tyres seem to be pretty decent. So I would expect it to be the same here as well, as I think they're not going to fight too much here, which is very understandable. We'll see what their fastest lap is. Wade's 1:19.5, Jake 1:19.7, Jordan 1:19.0. Yeah, Jordan's like 7/10 of a second of a lap quicker. That is huge for Jordan. Jordan's got to keep his cool because he's doing a really brilliant job. Tony's doing a great job as well. This is going to be a good day for the Haas team because they'll be 1 and 4 at the moment. Baz, I think, will be happy with where he is at the moment. But I think there's quite a lot of people that are running their own race. Come on, go close to a driver and battle, because there's only one battle to cover now. This is just like the Hungarian Grand Prix in real life at times, where there's hardly much going on. To be fair, Hungarian league racing to commentate, it could get boring. Yes, there's battles for like P2 or whatever, but that's the only battle that is happening on circuit, which shows that's probably why not many leagues do put Hungary on the calendar, because it's a hard track to overtake. There you go. As Scottish Goats come in. Interesting. I wonder why he's come into the pits now. So, has he got front wing damage? No. Soft tyres, fastest lap. Okay. Well, he's in a good position to do it, so fair enough. So he's going to try and get a point. You don't get a point in real life, but I believe you do get a point in Dive Bomb F1. So, there we go. That's the moral of the story. If you were in that position anyway, then pit for soft and there's no harm done. So, Scottish Goat made the right decision there. But if he lost a few places from that, then I probably would have said, oh, why? Why have you done that? So a few more laps to go of this Hungarian Grand Prix. I've been Jess Ball, your commentator, and Jordan has been increasing the gap to second and third by a lot each lap. The gap now is 5.2 seconds between Jordan and Waze. Then it's Jake, then it's Tony, then it's Bazza, then it's Dan. I think Bazza, I wonder if if he wants to close in on Tony now, he's got to do it ASAP before his mediums die. But he's trying to burn quite a bit of battery here. 1.2 seconds. He's got to get that chicane right as well in order to gain some time. That was nicely done from Bazza. Really nicely done. Stays in fourth. Runs a bit wide there. I'm almost certain that would have been a warning. He's lost a bit. I think he lost about 3 attempts there. What about Jake and Wade? I think it's around about 6, 8 tenths per second. I think, honestly, Wade knows he's not going to win, but he wants to try and keep onto that second place. So is Jake as well. And maybe even Tony. Or maybe Jake's just waiting for a perfect moment. He's within 2 attempts now. And I don't know if any of them have set quicker laps at this point. I have no idea. It is getting a bit more cloudy at the moment, which means the track conditions will be a lot cooler, which means it will be a lot manageable for the tyres. I want to see, actually, if anyone's close enough to a warning. Incident. Right, Jordan. Jordan, squeaky clean. Ways. 2 warnings. Okay, he's got to be careful. Jake, he is on 1 or 2 warnings. It's hard to tell. I think he's on 2. And Bazza's on 1. So those are your warning updates as we're approaching the final couple of laps of this race. Make sure you hit that subscribe button if you are loving watching the action. And as it stands, like last week, we're going to have the same winner 2 races in a row. This is going to be, I think, a tradition, which means will we get that for Imola and not Imola, Monza and Zandvoort, which are both quite fun tracks to race at this game, to be fair. 2 laps to go. Anything can happen in Dive Bomb F1, and it usually does. Baz has found the time that he needs, but he's just got out of DRS range again. So in the final lap, it's gonna be quite tricky for him to get 4th. But there's quite a few people that are on the brinks of getting penalties, so you never know with Bazza. There's quite a lot of things that can happen, actually, within the final few laps. Fair play to Scottish Goat and Kai, but still keeping going. They're almost going to be a lap down. I think they will be because Jordan's right on the back of Kai, I think. Yes, Jordan is on the back of Kai, so Kai, unfortunately, will be a lap down. Bazza! No! Bazza's got a 3-second penalty. And I thought we would get more, to be honest. But they proved me wrong, and Bazza just got 1. So that means Tony will get 4th anyway. But anyway, Jordan starts the final lap of this race as Jake's got to go for it. There! Oh! Was that a bit ambitious? I don't know, but let's hope that there's no damage from either one of the cars. Will that allow Tony to close in? We'll have to wait and see. But that's what I think. That move, I think he was so late on the brakes. I think he was a little bit too further back to go for it anyway. So I don't think that move would have been possible anyway. When I saw him go for it, I just didn't think it would be possible, and it wasn't. But he was lucky that he hasn't lost that much time, and it only happened on the final lap. So Jordan has been sensational today. He really did fantastically in Belgium, where he had to fight for the win, but Hungary, he did even better. He absolutely dominated this race from start to finish, and I can safely say that he's a force to be reckoned with in Dive Bomb F1. Jordan wins here in Hungary with Waze coming across the line in 2nd position. Jake will come across the line in 3rd with Tony in 4th. Bazza will get 5th, but I think he'll stay 5th because he only got that he only has 3 seconds. Down across the line in 6th. Only 9 finishes. Kai's already finished, of course. And I can hear seagulls again. Chris Johnson in 7th and Scottish Goat in 8th position. Now stay tuned. We got some news about Season 6 coming up for you soon as well. And I did check with the wording from Jack earlier on today just to make sure, and I made sure that I got my understanding about what's happening like earlier on as well, because I know I would probably be asking the same questions. But we'll run through your order first for the Hungarian race before we then move on to the news about Season 6. And driver of the day, both races I have to give to Jordan. Mainly for Hungary, because Jordan absolutely dominated. And then Belgium, because he had to work for it and he did a really great move and he played the strategy perfectly. So I think driver of the days have got to go to Jordan, both races. And I know he's going to come in the chat soon and have the biggest smile on his face, and he's going to be absolutely screaming in the chat. So well done to Jordan if you're listening. Brilliant job tonight. And And it shows from the domination, the Haas team dominated there because Tony gets driver of the day and cleanest driver, with Chris Johnson getting the most overtakes. So, your order then is Jordan, Wade, Jake, Tony, Bazza, Dan, Chris Johnson, Scottish Goat, and Kai. Those are your finishers, and your retirements are Vitinho, James, Jack Craig, and Lewis Craig. Lewis Craig says he retired due to a cough skill issue. I wonder if it was something more than that, but honestly, I have no idea. Let's just catch the reactions in the chat. And Tony says, can Jordan rave for Haas every week, please? But there we go. But I need to get the word in very soon as well. Now, this is, to be fair, Jack hasn't told people to watch the stream towards the end. So they're going to probably have to skip to the end to get to this bit. So I may as well cut to the chase about what's happening next season. Where on earth did I put that wording? I have no idea. So, this season in Season 5, we had a pace cap, which meant faster drivers and recent champions for similar leagues, such as myself, weren't allowed to race with us this season. But, next season, in Season 6, the pace cap will be lifted, which means anybody that wants to race, no matter how fast or slow you are, can sign up. Any platform allowed, and this is to help increase driver numbers. So, just a quick reminder, there is going to be no pace cap, which means anyone can sign up for Season 6. I'm sure Jack will post on Twitter at some point on the Twitter account, maybe in a day or two's time, with a link to sign up and stuff like that. Also, another thing, unfortunately, which I'm very sad that this is happening, but it is due to turn out, team bosses will be removed from Season 6 due to the fact that we're going to let anybody sign up to the race, with hopes of returning in Season 7 after knowing the pace of the new drivers. And in terms of teams, everyone will have the teams reset, which means the teams you got signed contract-wise will not happen. But team bosses, that basically people that were team bosses about a few weeks ago, they'll get first pick due to their commitment. Bazza will keep his pick as well, according to Jack, because of his commitment to the league. So whichever team that he wants, he gets to keep, because he's been in the league every season and he's been the most committed. So basically, team bosses and Bazza get to the pick that they want, basically. The rest of the grid, their cars will be chosen based on the team they selected in the sign-up form a few weeks ago, and they will... not a few weeks ago, a few months ago, sorry. And the teams will try to balance the teams as much as we can, so every team then has a chance of the constructors. So, to sum it all out, no pace cap. Anybody can sign up for Season 6. We'll post a link very shortly. No team bosses for this season. All teams will be reset, but team bosses will get first pick due to their commitment. Bazza will get a choice of what car they want because he's been in the league every season and he's been committed. So there we go. And if people have any questions, tell people to watch the stream. But there we go. We're going to wrap things up then, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I was debating on whether to stream tonight, but luckily I'm glad I did. We will see you next week for... trying to remember the track, Monza for the first race, and it will be a 50% race due to have the fact that how short it is. So bring it on, I'm looking forward to that. My voice is going to go, but who cares? And then we got Zambot straight after. So I've been Jess Ball, thank you so much for watching, and we will see you very soon. Next week, same time, 7:10. Bye-bye! If you'll let me stop the stream. Thank you, everybody, and goodbye.